All right, there's something that's a little concerning to me, if I'm being completely honest, with the Detroit Lions, and I'm worried that it is signifying a new direction for GM Brad Holmes, who we all agree is a fantastic talent evaluator, has done a phenomenal job moving and growing this team through the draft. Free agency's been okay, but he has done a phenomenal job through the draft. And the only question that now remains is, what is he going to do and how good is he going to be when it comes to the salary cap? How good is he going to be when it comes to contracts and how he is paying players, how he is getting the most out of his money to make sure you have a good team now and a good team later. Earlier, we did a video on Amon-Ra St. Brown and talked about just like how they could actually give him some money now, keep the team together now. I think most of us agree that we have a pretty good team. There's really only two positions of need. They just happen to be very expensive positions, defensive end and corner. All right. Other than that, the team seems to be in a pretty darn good position. All right, so that is why, even more concerning, what I see is that the Detroit Lions rank 4th in dead cap money owed. Now, we're going to go through this. I'm going to talk to you about what the dead cap is, and I'm going to tell you how they got there. So, now, before you freak out, the dead cap money is not massive, but how we got there is frustrating to me. If you have dead cap because a player just simply didn't end up playing well, or hey, he hit 30 and all of a sudden boom, like tanked his skills or something like that, to an extent I understand that. Or maybe the injury bug crept up on him early in like a 4-year deal, and then you need to get dead cap because you cut him and there's still 12 million on the books or something like that. Like, I understand getting dead cap in that respect. That's one way to get dead cap, because players get guaranteed money. You cut them, you still have to pay them. You trade them, you still have to pay them their guaranteed money. You're on the books for that. The other way is to do a voided contract. All right, there's another way to do a voided contract. And so this is where a lot of it is coming in. All right, $14 million in dead cap that was officially created. This came as a result of the 7 contracts automatically voided on Friday. According to Over the Cap, the Lions will also have dead cap money on the books after releasing Marvin Jones and Isaiah Buggs in 2023. In total, the Lions have $15.7 million in dead cap. That is the 4th most in the league. I have to admit, when I first saw this and I saw the Lions have the ranked 4th in dead cap, I thought it meant 4th as in least, because I thought Brad had been pretty good with his money. So the Chargers have the highest dead cap in total of 24.6. Now, here's where I'm going to tell everybody to calm down. That Chargers dead cap money by the beginning of the season could be upwards of 40 to 50 million. The Lions will not. So this will change when free agency starts, when teams start releasing players. That's the difference. The Lions don't have any current bad contracts, at least not in my assumption. If you go to Spotrac, Spot Track, whatever you want to call it, this is the dead cap money, all right, or the cap hit that we have coming this year, and there's nothing we can do about it. Here are the players that are getting money, and pretty much all of them are voided years or, something small once you get down here. All right, Vaitai, Romeo Okwara, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is owed $2 million. The Vaitai getting almost $4 million. That bugs me. All right, but he did restructure. He would be a lot more. He would be a lot more if he didn't restructure. All right, Charles Harris, same for him. He would have been more if he didn't restructure. Graham Glasgow, Emmanuel Mosley, Marvin Jones, Teddy Bridgewater, Isaiah Buggs. Here's the thing. Isaiah Buggs doesn't count. Bridgewater, Jones, Mosley, Glasgow, Harris, Vaitai, even Okwara, I think, and Gardner-Johnson. All these guys either restructured or were signed to 1-year deals and automatically got that money added. So in other words, Brad Holmes said of this 15 million, almost 16 million, he knew he was going into this year with about 12, 13, 14 million dollars in dead cap. We all saw this coming. I just didn't think it was a big number because so many teams have such larger cap hits. All right. So for example, other ways that you can get a dead cap. All right. You see it here. If we were to cut Jared Goff this year, we won't. Relax. I'm not saying that. We'd owe $5 million still. Taylor Decker, we'd still owe $9 million. Tracy Walker, we can save $5 million. We may cut him, but we'd lose. We can save 12, but we'd lose 7. So in other words, we get about 5.5 in this one. Frank, we'd actually, by cutting him, pay more money, right? Same with Cam Sutton. That's why everybody's like, Sutton's got to go. Nope. He's not going anywhere because we're not going to pay him $17.7 million to walk. Next year, not nearly as much. With a guy like Cam Sutton, as you look at it next year, you would, instead of paying him 10.5, you could owe him 6.5 in dead cap. But again, here's another guy that's got $4 million. When he's going to be $4 million again next year when he's not even on the team. So this is the one thing, it's these void years that I have to admit are starting to kind of freak me out a little bit. Like, stop doing it. You don't need to. And I understand, like, I don't want to get in a position where we're like the New Orleans Saints, where every year we start the year and we're way heavy into the red with our cap, and we need to cut players, and we need to restructure, and we need to add void years every single year. And it's just like, how do I want to put it? It's like interest, right? Everybody knows the difference between paying 3% on a mortgage and 8%. Everybody's feeling that. I feel like if you are signing players to a good contract, you sign them to the contract, I feel like adding void years is just adding interest that you don't need to pay. Like, I understand that the Lions wanted to sign these guys and they may not have been able to sign every single one of them last year. But are you telling me any of those guys were the deal breakers? Like, if you're sitting here and I'm telling you last year, all right, well, if you can't have one of these guys because of all the voided years, I would say one or two guys. Vaitai, Okwara, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Charles Harris, Graham Glasgow, Emmanuel Mosley, Marvin Jones, Teddy Bridgewater, Isaiah Buggs. Are you telling me we couldn't have lost two of those guys and still been just fine? Like, think about the year. Graham Glasgow was the only one out of all these players that made a lasting, big-time impact on this team. That's it. So I'm just worried that, like, this is it. So when we are entering into free agency this year and we're doing free agent signing, be excited, have fun with the guys we're getting, watch the void years. Watch the void years, because that can get a team in trouble fast. If you start every year with a $15 to $20 million deficit because you voided a bunch of stuff off the last year, it's basically saying, all right, that's 8% of the cap that is just gone for no reason. And I understand you want to borrow money, but please, like, just be responsible with the money. Brad Holmes, that's the one area where we have to see what he does, because now he has a lot of talent and he's got to re-sign that talent, and the money's going to start getting really tight. It was already tight last year. And that is why everybody talks about the Goff extension, because that is a lot of money. All right, we'll get into that and a ton more in the offseason. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.